What's going on, everybody? Welcome to 2025. We are bringing in the new year, folks, with lunch with the Clydesdale. Man, these are becoming some fun shows for me. Yeah, so it is 2025. Happy New Year to all of you. Hope you have a tremendous year coming up and that you have set goals for yourself that you can achieve. And if you're not one of those goal setters or what are they called? Whatever. But anyway, if you're one of those people that do that, I hope you have so much success. And if not, I hope you just enjoy your 2025. And thank you very much to both Jody and Judy for the birthday wishes. Yeah, it's been a great birthday. I woke up, my wife slept in. I got to watch my ESPN show Get Up this morning with a nice hot cup of coffee and just hanging out, savoring the Penn State victory last night to start the new year, which was really freaking awesome. They did so well. Their defense played so well, especially the defensive line, stopping the number one running back in the country, holding him to just 100 yards, which sounds like a lot, but in his case, he's never been held to just 100. He's had more than 125 in every game this year. So they played really well last night, ended up winning, I think 31 to 10. So yeah, super awesome. But I woke up today, enjoyed my birthday morning. It's my birthday, Bruce, my birthday. And so had my cup of coffee, watched Get Up. My wife got up and then she gave me some gifts. So I got the new Teddy Swims vinyl, which I'm super pumped for. I love him. If you don't know, before I got into all this stuff, I love singing. I used to be in a band back in the day. And Teddy Swims is one of my favorite singers out there today. I love his voice. And so she got me the new vinyl for that. So I'll be listening to that this afternoon. And she also got me a mini, I don't know if you can see behind me right there. That is Soldier Field. That's the Chicago Bears Stadium in little mini bricks. She got me Beaver Stadium, which is Penn State Stadium, in mini bricks as well to put together. So that'll give me a long couple months work to put that together. So having a great morning, really enjoying it. And then after this show, we're going out for chicken wings, which I love to death. And it's a new place that my best friend found. And it's actually pretty close to my house. And they have both sauces and dry rubs. So we're going to get like little mini baskets to try some different flavors and have a lovely day that way. So, and then the rest of the day is going to be college football probably until tomorrow. So that is awesome. And I'll be back with you tomorrow. Thank you everybody for the birthday wishes. Lex and Carolyn just called me before the show, sang a beautiful rendition of Happy Birthday to me with the Doodles on a nice walk in California. And I'm so glad that they're in my life now. They are such good friends and that was just awesome. And thank you, Meredith, for the well wishes and happy birthday. Carolyn with a happy birthday as well. Bruce, we all want to know when Soldier Field's being replaced. It's never being replaced. If you don't know, Soldier Field is actually a historic monument in Chicago, so it cannot be replaced. They do want to build a new stadium, but they cannot tear down Soldier Field as it is a historic landmark. And it was built to commemorate the soldiers lost in World War I. It is that old. And so yeah, we have like I have any money at all in this. The Bears have a land in Arlington Heights where they can build a stadium. They're also in negotiations with downtown Chicago on the lakefront to build another stadium. But there's no shovel in the ground, and this has been going on for a while. And if you're a Bears fan, you're kind of sick of the stadium talk as it's heading nowhere fast. Um, like Scott, you were in a band. I was. Yeah. A long, long time ago. They said you were going to keep the memorial and tear down the stadium. That I have not heard. Um, I have not heard, but oh, sure. There's been so many rumors back and forth about this stadium. I really can't keep up anymore. Uh, so anyway, this has been fun. What I want to do first before we kick into this, the first person in the chat that can name my age today, what I turned today, will win one of our either coffee cups or drink bottles. If I can get it in screen. There we go. First person in the chat that can name my exact age. Bruce, you're wrong. We'll win one of those. Oh, look at you, dude. Larry Young gets it. So, Larry, just tell me which one you want. You want the coffee cup or the water bottle? I will send it to you and get your DM me your address, and I'll send that off to you this weekend. Larry Young was fast. Second guess in. So nice. Well, a couple of things I want to talk about. One is the amazing victory last night by the Penn State Nittany Lions. We are in the Final Four, which is awesome. We are we're headed to the Final Four, and we play the winner of Georgia and Notre Dame, which happens tonight. I'm picking Notre Dame in that game. It's a Georgia's favored by 1 point, which to me is just a pick'em game anyway. Then, so I think Notre Dame wins outright. We start off the day with Texas and Arizona State. As much as I love the story of Arizona State, I think Texas is going to pull that off today. And in the middle game is Ohio State, Oregon. And I'm really conflicted because I would like another chance to beat Ohio State, as Penn State would play them in the national championship game if both made it that far. But I have OSU fatigue from living in Columbus for so long that I think that if OSU plays their A game, they win the game today. And I'll have to listen to the Buckeye fans gloat around about that, including Judy Reed. But so I'll pick the Buckeyes to win the middle game, Texas to win the first game, and Notre Dame to win the last game of the day. And then hopefully the Penn State will have an opportunity to play Ohio State in the national championship game, which would be great for the Big Ten. And maybe we get revenge from the earlier loss this year. Next thing on my list is Emma Cary. For those of you who don't know, we were the first podcast that Emma Cary ever did. And I don't know if you can see that gray shirt right there. That is the first shirt I ever had sent to me signed by an athlete. And that is Emma Cary. She actually ran a competition for the kids in her gym. And that was the shirt that they gave out to all the kids at that time. And then her and her parents sent me that shirt signed by her. And so that is that's the first shirt I ever framed and hung. And then now you see, like, I have a lot more shirts from athletes that have sent me them, which is really cool. But it kind of started a trend. So I've known Emma. She's one of the first interviews we ever did on like episode 32 or 33. And we've done well over 1,000 episodes at this point. So when I saw that she was retiring from the sport, it brought a little tear to my eye, but I understand from Larry, I actually got the notifier already that you sent me. So I'll get that out to you this weekend. And so it saddened me a little bit that she was retiring, because when she was coming up, I don't know if I ever saw a young athlete as talented and driven as she was. Mal O'Brien and her were almost mirror images of each other. And I thought that we were going to have this epic showdown for years to come. And I don't know what happened. And now we don't have either one. Mal O'Brien has not made any announcements that she's never coming back, but in all intents and purposes, we have not seen her do anything like that. So my guess is that she probably will not be. And Emma Cary has made it clear that she has found happiness in other directions with her faith, which I'm so happy for. As a man of God, I think that shows a maturity that I probably don't even have at 55. That she wants to serve God and Christ before serving CrossFit. And I was hoping that some way she would find a way to be able to do both. But in her mind, it is clear that it is one or the other. She doesn't get satisfaction from CrossFit anymore if you read what she wrote. And she gets more satisfaction after over serving the Lord. And so I have to respect that. And I'm really happy for her that she came to that decision, and she is happy and content with that. My hope is that I can get her on the show and do a show with her like I did with Olivia Sulik, who made the same decision about 2 years ago. I met both of them when they were very young in the teen division, and have been following them forever. Carolyn says Emma was definitely a workhorse. She could suffer like no other, and super talented. She is so driven in everything that she does that I think that may have been one of the downfalls of her early on, is she suffered injury, like a big back injury, at a very young age, because she was so driven. And in that first episode we had with her, she talked about like wanting to learn double under so much that she would like spend 8 hours straight trying to learn them and be all marked up from the misses. She was programming for herself, and if she had a goat, she would program it like every day, so that she could get better at it. She was so driven for a young woman. And you hear the same stories about Mal going to the edge like that, even Haley Adams. So I'm sad that she's not going to be in the sport. I'm sad that we can't cover her anymore, but I'm happy that she has found happiness and peace with the life that she has chosen, and where she's going. And I wish her all well. And I wish her wellness and happiness for everything. Sorry, can't talk on my birthday. So yeah. So I wanted to get that out of the way. And then what I'm going to talk about a little bit is some of my favorites from 2024. I just did some quick math before coming on here, and this channel has put out at least 312 episodes in 2024. Yeah, 312 episodes. We did a semifinal series. We did a Road to the Game series. We did the Champions of Legend series. We did Athletes of the Masters CrossFit Games series. In addition to that, we sprinkled in things here and there throughout this season, and it was such a rewarding experience doing all those different series and getting to know as many of the athletes in the space as possible. And like Carolyn said, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, hit that notifier just like Judy Reed, so you know when the episodes are coming on. And so I went through like the list of shows that we did, and a couple things I just want to point out, some favorite moments of the year. And one of those had to be that Emily Rolfe, one of my dear friends, podiumed at the games. I wish it was under different circumstances, but I was so happy that she was able to do that. And she's always been so gracious to us and participated in so much of what we do here, that I was so happy when she was on the podium. And it's probably one of the things that I took enjoyment of in the weekend of the CrossFit Games, which was a tough weekend this year. In addition to that, Earlier in 24, we brought on Carolyn Prevost as a co-host to our Sunday night CrossFit show, which at the time was Thursday night. We moved it to Sunday night. And along with that, we got Lex. And it has been such a good friendship and partnership to get the contributions from the two of them for this show. I think they've added so much to what we do on this channel. And I could not thank them any more than that. And it's definitely one of the highlights of 2024 for me, having partnerships with them and them constantly contributing to what we do, to our rundowns, letting us know what news is going on. Nobody follows the CrossFit space like Lex. Lex and the Barbell Spin probably comb Instagram and news more than anybody in the space. And so I thank them so much for that. And then one last favorite moment for me is my friend Jamie Latimer, after years of trying, finally making it to the CrossFit Games. To be there in Birmingham for her first ever CrossFit Games appearance was so cool and so magical, and I could not be happier for her. She puts in so much effort every year to do that. I think when she qualified, I teared up because I knew how much it meant to her, and to watch her. I mean, our relationship started with me doing a documentary of her at quarterfinals, I believe, or semifinals, and we've become such good friends. And then to see her make the CrossFit Games was so awesome, and definitely one of the top highlights of the year. Carolyn says, "Yeah, Lex is the queen of knowing it all. She, it's amazing what she knows. She has so many connections, and she's added so much to this channel, and they're just dear friends too. I want to make that clear. They are great friends first, great partners second." So I went through my list of shows for the year, and I ranked them, and it was really tough. Like I said, we did 312 shows this year. And so what I did is my top 10 list is pretty much athlete interviews. And really what I was looking at is things that, like, my favorite interviews are when I start talking to somebody and we go completely off script and we head down a rabbit hole that I didn't even know was going to happen, and it just free flows. I love when that happens during a podcast. So I'm going to point out first a couple people that I have on the show regularly, and I kind of omitted them from this list because I've had them on so many times that it kind of blurred together which time they were here and what we talked about. But anytime I have Ariel Owen, Emily Rolfe, Hattie Canyo, Bethany Flores, Saxon Panchek, Tristan, oh my gosh, I'm just totally brain farted. Tristan Patrick, Justin Kotler, or Rebecca Fusilier on. Those shows are awesome. We have all those people I consider friends, and we have great conversations, and they're always off script. What I love is that we're to the point in the relationship where they turn the questions around on me, and we just have great back and forth conversations. So all of those people I love every time they're on, but I didn't put them in my top 10. A couple honorable mentions that I just didn't have space for, but I loved, was Mike Beamer, who was episode 921. Mike Beamer was in the 60 to 64-year-old division at the Masters CrossFit Games. The man can do like 10 consecutive muscle ups. He is a complete beast. Was a military man who found CrossFit afterwards and blew it up. Great guy, great interview. Learned so much from him. Another honorable mention was Ryan Retke, episode 896. With that, Ryan competed in the 45 to 49-year-old division. He said he talked about taking a Mercedes and making it run on vegetable oil, and that was one of his hobbies. He was also on Fear Factor and won an episode of Fear Factor. Those are things that I didn't know going into that interview that we had a tremendous time talking about. and was really good. I can't even read some of my own writing. Um, Another one was Tristan Harrison. Um, Tristan Harrison was a semifinal athlete. It's episode 829. What's crazy about him is he had kind of accidentally qualified for semifinals. He was super stoked about it, but he was starting a new job right after semifinals. Um, and in addition to that, he ended up on Kill Taylor, where he almost killed Taylor, but fell just short. And now you see him. I think he was at Crash. I think he's done some other events. So I think he was about ready to retire, but ended up not. And that's a great interview. 829. Lacey Truelove, 904, 35 to 39-year-old. Just great backstory about some of the stuff she went through, and how she has fought to make it to the CrossFit Games. That was great. Jen Dieter, episode 742. She was a Jacksonville Jaguar cheerleader who is now competing in the Masters CrossFit Games. We learned a lot about her. That was a great episode. And then Chloe Gavin David was a surprise to me. She is so fun to talk to. I really thought she'd be in my top 10. I just was running out of space. So yeah, Chloe Gavin David was a great interview. That is episode 842. Then let's do our top 10. So my 10th favorite episode was episode 859. It was Hattie Canyo after she qualified for the CrossFit Games. What was awesome about that is Hattie had actually had a show on my channel where we went live every Wednesday night, and she was in Bali training. And she would show us around Bali, different things she would do there. And so her and I became friends over the course of that series. And then to watch her come where nobody expected her to do this, come out of nowhere and qualify for the CrossFit Games. And not only that, but tie for third at the West semifinal with Ariel Lowen. And really, she was leading going into the last event, but that last event got her, and she fell back to a tie for third. That was a fun episode to kind of talk to her right after she had reached all of her goals. And that was fun because we did all that leading up to it. Number 9 was Paige Semenza, episode 834. Paige Semenza, this was, she had kind of started talking about having a bad year the year before, suffering through a back injury, and that she had made a lot of changes in her life, and she was heading in a different direction and was starting to find happiness in CrossFit again. That got a lot deeper than I ever anticipated it to go. And that show was really, really fun. Jody Lynn says, I love those Bali shows. I did too. They were a lot of fun. And Larry Young asked New Year's resolution. I haven't really sat down and done any goal setting yet. We'll talk about that after I get through the top 10, but I haven't really sat down and done that yet. Number 8 is Tammy Saunders. She's known as Coach Tam Tam on Instagram. Her episode is 935. She was a master's athlete who has overcome a lot in her life to then become a gym owner and now an athlete that qualified for the CrossFit Games. Her coach is Bill Grunler, which was fascinating, and I didn't know going into it. So we got to learn a little bit more about Bill as a coach. We got to learn about her as an athlete and all the stuff she's overcome. That is a great episode to go back and check out. That's 935. Number 7 is Will Morad. I interviewed him before the Syndicate Crown. What was great about that is Will was crushing both qualifying events up to the semifinal and in the Masters. And we really talked about him trying to do the double, making it to the CrossFit Games and making it to the Masters CrossFit Games. It was a great conversation. We got into a lot of things around the sport. It was almost a mini preview of what was to come. My guess is he knew he had some plans in his mind, but was not ready to divulge those. And so if you go back and listen to it, you can kind of detect that there was something in the planning stages that he wasn't ready to divulge to us. But it was a great conversation. Regretfully, he got hurt at the Syndicate Crown and was not able to make the Elite CrossFit Games, but did go on to win the Masters CrossFit Games in the 35-39. Number 6 was Claudia Ragsdale, episode 927. She again was a Masters athlete. She is coached by Coach L with Brute. It's so funny. We became fast friends with this interview, and then subsequently at the Masters CrossFit Games. She said that we are spirit animals, that we're kind of the same athlete. We like to lift heavy weights, don't like the cardio as much. So we just became fast friends. But in the interview itself, we went into a topic that I never thought I would talk about, and that is how menopause affects training. And she was very open and honest about how the hormonal change really affected how she trained and how she needed, and different things she was using and doing to make that easier on herself. Didn't expect to go down that path, but when the athlete or the guest wants to do that, we're gonna go where they want to go. And so we dove down that rabbit hole. Fascinating conversation. I learned more about menopause than I ever thought I would know. But yeah, that was a great conversation. Number 5 was James Sprague. I've had James Sprague on the show a couple times, but it was always in a group. So early on in our evolution as a show, we used to have what we called the Brute Teens on, and that was Dallin, Emma, James, maybe even Tudor, and then Matt Torres. So we would have them on as a group early on in this podcast history. And this was the first time I had James on as an individual. And I've known James outside because I go to so many different Masters events, and his dad competes in the Masters event. I would always see him and chat with him. We just could never connect for like a one-on-one show. But what's awesome is this interview went so well. He gave me his phone number, so now we can text, we can chat back and forth. Getting him on the show will be much easier in the future. I've loved his dad forever. He's just one of the nicest guys in the world. And to watch his son cheer him on is how I got to know James really well first. And then to see James as an athlete this year and have that conversation with him was great. So that is number 5. Number 4 is Brandon Luckett. I'd never had Brandon Luckett on the show before. There was all this hoopla about him being washed up and John Young telling him he was washed up. But he was killing the qualifiers getting into semifinals. So we talked to him right before semifinals, and his background and what he does for a living and his Imam group and the Southland group. It was just a really fun conversation about the crew he hangs out with, about the crew he helps coach, which he would never say that's what he does, but he does. As I've talked to many of them, like our very own Corey Leonard. It was just a really good conversation, a really down-to-earth dude who has a very big brain about a lot of things. And it was just fun to dig into that and learn more about Brandon and kind of his philosophies. And he's someone that I would want on the show on a regular basis. He was so good. Number 3, best interview of the year was Jamie Hygia. For those who didn't know, Jamie was a CrossFit OG, was in the games back in, I think, 2016 or 2017, 2016, because it was in Carson. She, at the age of 39, qualified for the West semifinals. So in our semifinal series, we had her on and and basically she was playing with house money at the time. And what was cool is her gym was like 15 minutes from Carson. So not only did she get to go experience her semifinal in front of her home crowd, she also got to be kind of the host for everybody traveling in as they were looking for places to drop in. Her gym was the obvious choice, being so close to the stadium. Yeah, Carolyn said she just moved to Hawaii. She did. She just announced she moved to Hawaii. And Carolyn says she loves Jamie. But it was one of the coolest conversations, so laid back, so easy to talk to. We talked about each other's goals. You can tell that she's a coach too, just by the way she talks. And I'd never had the opportunity to sit down and talk with her in the past. We have bumped elbows before at different events when she was doing sideline reporting. But yeah, it was my first time to actually get down and sit down and have a conversation. And I could have done that for a couple of hours. It was so easy. My number 2 episode from 2024 was Zoe and Ashley Fiala. If you didn't know their story, Zoe qualified for the Teen CrossFit Games. Ashley qualified for the Masters CrossFit Games, and they were both on the same weekend, and they had to split and go separate ways. And Ashley, as a mom, did not want to do that. She wanted to go watch Zoe and support her in her effort at the CrossFit Games. But Zoe was having none of that and knew that her mom had been trying to do this for many, many years. And the fact that she got in, she said, listen, if you don't go to your CrossFit Games, I'm not going to mine. Put her foot down. They talk about that on the show, about the back and forth, how they were going to handle it. And they're just two great people. And that is episode 889. That is Zoe and Ashley Fiala. Great, great story. Great, great human beings. And a great episode. But my number 1 episode of the year is Denise Moore. Denise Moore, episode 751. I got to meet Denise at the Legends event last December. So 2 Decembers ago. Denise came on the show as she had won the 65 plus division. And I had all the champions on the show after Legends and through January. And what I learned is that she is one badass woman. What we found out was that she was a breast cancer survivor, that after the breast cancer, she had implants put in. She was actually being poisoned by the implants, which made her training suffer. And then she made the choice to have those implants removed. And since then has felt so much better, and is back to training. And what an amazing woman. And what's awesome is she's become a big listener of the show. She's in the chats all the time. I would consider her a friend now. She is just an amazing woman. And that is episode 751. It is a great, great episode. And by far stands out above the rest because of the hurdles she overcame and the setbacks she had and how she was trying to figure all that out. Just a really cool, awesome, badass woman. And so for that, she gets the number 1 spot on the 2024 episode, best episodes of the year. Those, and just so you know, like when I try to have people on, I love talking about CrossFit, but if we get through an episode where I don't say the word CrossFit and we just talk about what happened personally in their life and what they overcame to get where they're going, those are my favorite episodes. Those are the ones that like really resonate with me and hit home. I love telling stories, and the more I can do that, and I've really missed it because since the games, I have not done a lot of interviews other than Masters athletes. And part of that is Masters have the coolest stories. They have more life experience. And it just was easier after everything that happened at the games. now it's time, we're in 2025. Now it's time to ramp back up, get back into the habit of doing some in-person interviews with people as we get into this, as we know more about the different seasons that are happening this year, directions people are taking, all of that stuff, and get back to the storytelling that I love to do so much. Um, we have been doing this now. I didn't even like make a big deal about it, but we hit our 5-year anniversary in November. So we've been doing this for over 5 years now, and bringing on Carolyn and Lex, bringing on Jamie last year, getting Kat back this year. She'd been through some stuff. She came back this year, which is awesome. Just makes us stronger, and I love that this channel is growing and getting better and better each year. Larry asks about New Year's resolutions. I guess personally, I don't have a lot of resolutions because I've got to have a procedure on Friday with my heart. My wife has to have a total knee replacement on Monday. Those are the things that I have in my forethought of things going on, and they're kind of taking precedence over the rest of 2025. I just want to get my wife back to where she can walk, where she can do the things she loves to do and is not in constant pain. That is like the thing that I want more than anything this year. Is I want her back out in the garage, working out with me, doing the stuff she loves to do. And she hasn't been able to do that for 3 years because insurance denied her for so long. We finally got that resolved. We're finally getting, we're finally going to get her fixed and back to normal, doing the things she loves doing, and we get to do it together. And that's what I'm most excited about for 2025. What I will say is, Carolyn says, let's hit 3,000 to 5,000 subscribers. I would love to do that. I would love to do that. I just want to put the best content I can out every single week and do that. Carolyn says, I can recall each of these interviews you named. Good shows. Yeah. It was tough. It was tough. Like I said, we did over 300 shows this year. So to narrow it down to the top 10 was really tough. And I appreciate every athlete that takes the time to come on the show. And every one of them has something great to offer. But yeah. So for me, like 2025 is about getting my wife back, getting the channel rolling again, figuring out a direction as a group and as a team where we're going to go, what we're going to cover, what we're going to do as a team, so that we can be precise and make a plan and make it effective and do the things we love to do. So, and then personally, I've done a lot in the last year. I just want to keep that going. I really just want to keep that going. Jake Chapman says, best show was the one you listed the top 5 Arnold films. Yeah, I missed that. I want that to be kind of bring that stuff back as part of my lunch show. But I love doing that with Charlie. Charlie and I have debates about this stuff all the time on text. And I'm hoping that he'll be able to drop in on some of these lunches where we can do some top 5 goofy lists like we did in the past. Those were a lot of fun. Jeffrey Birchfield says, I prefer goals as opposed to resolutions. I agree. Right now, though, my goal doesn't have to be January 1st. I need to get through the stuff. And maybe my goal setting happens with like in the 15th of January when I know kind of where we're at. Goofy, this is deadly serious stuff. Yeah, the top 5 Arnold films are definitely serious stuff. Serious. Sorry. I should not have trivialized that, Jake. My bad. Goals without a plan are just dreams. I agree. Completely. And I am going to sit down with the team here and try to figure out what we're going to do with this channel going forward for the year, what we're going to cover, what we're going to look at. I have some ideas in my mind. I want to bounce them off Jamie and Carolyn and Lex and Kat and Amy and Charlie to see if it's something that they believe in and can we make it work. But just have to get through these next couple days, and then we'll set those goals up, both professionally and personally. Jake Chapman says, "Are you going to Waza?" I am not. My wife is off work for 6 weeks. She's going to need constant care for at least the first couple weeks. So I was not able to commit to anything in January, as I'm going to be her primary caretaker for the next few weeks. What we have on the docket now is getting all the Christmas decorations down, getting a bed on our first floor so she can sleep on the main floor of the house. I've got to do all that this weekend and have her all prepped and ready to go. And then her surgery is early morning Monday, and we will, hopefully everything goes well, and when we can get the bed out of the living room and back upstairs. But she needs a place where she can get her leg up on the main floor of the house. Carolyn, I hope they have a good feed. The rosters look great. Yeah, I hope that from the layout, it's hard to tell. I think that 30 lane rig, 30 lane floor is too hard to get a good feed, because all you really see is the center few lanes. And if you're not in the center few lanes, you kind of miss it all. But I don't know what the new setup is like in South Beach. So we'll see if they do a 30-person floor. When they do the feeds from what used to be the barge, on that stage, it was much better because it's a 10-person floor. That was much easier to watch. But we'll see what they have going on in South Beach. I'm kind of sad because I wanted to see the new location. I wanted to see what was going on down there. But regretfully, I'll just have to get feedback from others who are there. Jake Chapman, my wife is coaching her mom in the 65 plus again. That is awesome. I love hearing those stories. I love the Masters athletes so much. Their stories are so good. It's a bit nuts. The Masters don't get a coach's pass to go to the warm-up areas, but the teens and the indies do. That has been an issue for the last couple of years. I know I'm really good friends with Rudy Berger and his wife Lynette, and Lynette is the wife, and she can't ever get a coach's pass to coach him, help him warm up at Wadapalooza. Luckily, I think she is also the coach of Max Krieg, and I know he's at least on a team, so maybe she has a coach's pass for that and can go back. But it really stinks for people like your wife who don't have that alternative. But I don't even know what the old warm-up area was massive. I don't even understand why more people couldn't have a coach's pass, but I don't know what the new warm-up area looks like at all. So, with all of that, so I don't know if you guys have been seeing the news. The stuff that happened in New Orleans has been crazy this morning, but I just got an update from ESPN that Caesars Superdome in New Orleans was on lockdown Wednesday for security sweeps. No immediate word. Sugar Bowl might be delayed. So the Notre Dame Georgia game at the Sugar Bowl tonight might be delayed. If you didn't see, a man drove into a crowd of people at the corner of Canal and Bourbon this morning, killing 10 people and injuring at least 35. The suspect was shot at police and then was shot himself and killed. But it has put everything around the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans in up in the air. So, man, waking up to that on your birthday is not what you want to see. So bummed about that. And like Carolyn said, there are awful humans out there. So sad. Jay Birch, we're headed there in March for St. Patrick's Day. Well, the last time I was in New Orleans, I actually stayed in the Le Méridien Hotel right where this incident happened, right across the street. It was like looking out my hotel window would have been Canal and Bourbon. And I was there for work. But that Canal is not a small street. Like that is a big, busy street. And then Bourbon, of course, is the big tourist attraction. Just all, I can't even believe that's happened. Thank you, Jay Birch, for the birthday wishes. Back on CrossFit stuff. Masters carry the open, but get the least consideration. Just doesn't make sense to me. I guess they know the Masters will continue to show up. I do agree with you for the most part, Larry. My beef with the Masters is they are the athletes I love more than anything. I want to cover them. I love getting stuff out about them. They don't share the stuff. The content that people create for them, they don't share. If they want to become more popular, you need to take the grassroots approach of you share so other people will share and more people will share to get the word out of what these amazing athletes can do. I do an 11-part documentary about the Masters CrossFit Games, and it doesn't get shared by that community. That is frustrating. So frustrating. Why that was all free of charge. All they had to do is hit a share button on their Instagram, add it to their Facebook, whatever social media, just add links, and I put stuff out there like that. I tagged legends in every single one of my posts and they didn't share a single one. That is the frustrating thing. When people do try to give them what they deserve, it's just not getting shared with anybody. Karen says, that is true, Scott. They have to share more. They have to. That's how CrossFit grew in the first place. It was people posting videos and it getting shared and getting shared again and getting shared again and going viral. The Masters community does not do that. And that is a shame. But with that, we're going to call it a day because I'm going to go get some chicken wings. I'm so excited about this place. They have dry rubs. They have Cheetos flavor. They have flaming hot Cheetos flavor. They have like a barbecue potato chip flavor of dry rub. And then they have the traditional like buffalo sauce, buffalo garlic, mango jalapeno, mango habanero, all of that stuff. So we're going to get a bunch of little baskets to try a bunch of different flavors. And I'm super stoked because chicken wings are the greatest food on the earth. And it's my birthday, and I am going to partake in my favorite thing in the world. But I still kept New Year's Eve sober. I watched Penn State win, and now I'm going to go eat some chicken wings and probably have a water or a Diet Coke. With that, guys, and Happy New Year. Enjoy 2025. It's going to be awesome. So glad you guys are here with us. Can't wait to hang out with you all through 2025. And we'll be back tomorrow with another show. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.